In the previous video, we saw how to create a Gen AI application using Amazon Q. In this video, we'll look at some of the functionalities of how to use the same application that we built. As I mentioned in my previous video, I have already created my application, indexed the document, which is placed in my S3 buckets. And now I've clicked on preview web experience and my user experience for Amazon Q is now loaded. A bit of background about the data that I've indexed. I've taken my AWS documents, FAQs, loaded into S3, and now index that document back into my knowledge base. I'm going to say what are the five pillars of well architected. Now Amazon Q now takes this question, goes into my knowledge base, picks up the relevant context from my knowledge base, and then sends the information back into my large language model. As you can see, the five pillars of the well-architected framework are operational excellence, security, reliability, performance efficiency, and cost optimization. In addition, it also provides you where it picked up the information from. It picked up this information from this well-architected framework document, which is a reference document in my knowledge base. I can further go ahead and ask multiple other questions based on it. Now, if you look at on the left-hand side, the information, the conversation that I've had is kind of stored as a context and a history in here. Now I can leave this conversation and create an entirely new conversation here. In this new conversation, what I want to do is I want to use a different data source, not the data source that I have already indexed my data with. So for that, I'm going to go and upload a document. In this case, I'm going to search for a document called Titanic. Pick the Titanic document. Now the Titanic document is loaded as my context or my knowledge base. I'm going to ask a question like how many males survived the Titanic? Press enter. So this time the question goes to the context, which is titanic.csv, rather than the context that I have indexed my data against. Based on the summary analyzing the sex and survived fields, around 208 males survived the Titanic. So essentially it gives a good information about how many males survived the Titanic. Now, if we can see on the left-hand side, there are two conversations. One conversation based on the knowledge base that was indexed in. The second conversation based on the text document or the CSV document that I had uploaded to. Now I can switch back and forth between these conversations. So let me go back to the first conversation. And ask a question about write a short summary of the security pillar. I don't know if there is enough information in my knowledge base, but I'll still go ahead and ask this question to showcase to you that the information that is going to be used in this conversation is based on the knowledge base data that I have. As a security pillar focuses on the ability to protect, blah, blah, blah. And here there are three different sources of information that it took from. When I click on sources, it says intro to AWS security, overview of AWS Lambda security, and well-architected framework. These are the documents that had information about the question, and those were the information that were retrieved and sent to the large language model. Now, interestingly, I can switch back to the other conversation where I'm talking about Titanic. I go back there. Now I'm going to say how many males let's say how many females survived the Titanic. Awesome. So now it has given me information about the number of females that survived the Titanic. Now you get the context, right? So I can have multiple conversations, and these conversation histories are stored, and the context is managed um, in this conversation history. So I can switch back and forth, and these conversation histories are maintained for 30 days. So within those 30 days, you can come back anytime, go to that particular conversation history, click on it, and then have continue the conversation that you had, like let's say 10 days ago, right? So that is a feature of Amazon Q. Okay, so now that you can basically see how easy it was to build an application, yeah, build basically a RAG-based application and start having conversation with the RAG-based application. Alternatively, you can also create a bunch of additional configurations on top of Amazon Q. Let's see what are all those additional configurations that are available in Amazon Q. Let me go back to the application, demo 2 application. When I click on my demo 2 application, you can see on the left hand side under enhancements, there are 3 different configurations that you can play around with. The first one is guardrails. Guardrails are admin controls and guardrails. When I click on it, there are 2 types of controls that you can set up. One is a global control, the other one is a topic specific control. In global controls, you can provide a bunch of blocked words that you do not want it in your prompt. So those are the ones that you can control within your global controls. Under the topic specific controls, you can create a specific topic and start building what kind of response that you want to provide for those specific topics. That's what. The second configuration is plugins. When I click on plugins, plugins are a way through which you can basically create an automated task. A simple example here could be that you are having a conversation with let's say you're an IT support engineer, you're having a conversation with your customer, and at the end of the conversation, you have to create a ticket in Jira. So now what you can do is you can create a connectivity using plugins into Jira applications. And in your prompt, you can go ahead and say, summarize the entire conversation that I had with my customer, and then create a Jira ticket. And this will go ahead and create a Jira ticket. Currently, there are 4 different plugins that are available out of the box from Amazon Q. The last and the final enhancements that you can do is document enrichments. What are document enrichments? When you index the document from your systems of record into your knowledge store, that pipeline is called as an indexing pipeline. The indexing pipeline basically connects, loads the data, crawls the information from your systems of record, converts it into vector representations, and stores it into your knowledge base. Across this indexing pipeline, you might choose to do some special processing of the data. Say, for example, your data is in a CSV format, or let's say an image format, and you wanted to read that image, extract the text out of the image, or you might want to do some specific customizations um, onto your pre-processing or your indexing pipeline. Both those options are currently available using Amazon Q. When I click on document enrichments, I can say add document enrichments. You can see that there are some basic operations that are available, basically adding additional metadata or facets to your document, so it is easily searchable. If you choose to add a customized enrichments, you can actually create a Lambda function and have your logic for those pre-extraction and post-extraction logic in the Lambda function and associate the Lambda function in here. So in summary, we looked at what are the key components of a RAG-based application and how it is extremely complex to create a RAG-based application in a production environment, and how Amazon Q as a serverless managed offering helps you to build this application in a span of minutes. In addition, you can add guardrails and make it a responsible AI RAG application. Hopefully, you found this very useful. I would love to see what all you can build with Amazon Q. Thank you.